Lichelle Marie Laws could have had a normal life. She grew up in a middle-class neighborhood on the west side of Detroit, bounded to the north by the 8 Mile Road, which was made famous by this guy. Her father, Joe, an auto worker, would occasionally drive to the rough areas of the city to emphasize the importance of getting an education. Indeed, Lichelle's mother, Lily, was an educator herself, with a master's degree in education from Wayne State University and working as a teacher at the Lewis College of Business. And both parents were deacons. As a result, Lichelle went to Catholic school at St. Mary's of Bedford, studied ballet, took piano lessons, and eventually went off to Oakland University, located in the northern suburbs of Detroit. But it was at Oakland where a friend introduced Lichelle to this new sound coming out of New York and now making its way through the rest of the country. Lichelle was hooked. A few campus gigs later, both Lichelle and her partner, Irene Moore, were out of Oakland, determined to hit the big time because in 1990, that wasn't going to happen in the 313. They first tried out New York, which was closer in proximity and the birthplace of this new sound, hip-hop. But the girls scoffed at the management deal they were offered, over a lunch from McDonald's. So their El Dorado switched from east to west, more specifically Los Angeles, the birthplace of an emerging hip-hop subgenre, gangsta rap. By then, Irene had become D, the DJ, and Lichelle had become boss. And as they struggled to gain their footing in the squalor of the LA underbelly, they realized one thing. The good girl approach was probably not going to work. Born Gangstas, released on May 25, 1993, might have never happened. Lodging in cheap motels, writing raps on reams of paper, smoking and drinking from one day to the next, and peddling drugs just to get by, desperation finally pushed the aspirational duo to somehow find themselves in the offices of the executive producers responsible for Quick Is the Name, the debut album of DJ Quick that had just gone gold. Quick was generous enough to stick Boss in a track with his associate, AMG, entitled My Sister's a Word got to Russell Simmons, who was looking to take advantage of the gangster rap scene by expanding his Def Jam label out west. He was impressed enough to sign Boss as the first artist on DJ West, the California outpost of Def Jam. Boss is quite possibly the first and only full-blown, high-profile female gangster rapper in history, which makes Born Gangstas, her only album, a curious oddity in the history of rap music. Throughout an outrageous 47 minutes, Boss proves that she can curse as much, is just as trigger-happy, and can peddle as much drugs as her male counterparts. It's not like she's saying anything new, but it's gangster rap from a female protagonist's perspective. That's what's so intriguing about it. If it was just another guy, by 1993, gangster rap was in full swing, and Boss would soon be joined on DJ West by South Central Cartel anyway. So judging from some of these songs, there wasn't really anything topically new. The cop chase in Thelma and Louise is basically the skit version of NWA's 100 Miles a Runnin', and if not for the female factor, the violent aggression of songs like Comin' to Getcha, Progress of Elimination, and Two to the Head would sound even more cliched than they actually do here. And some parts of the album sink into parody, like the skit 1-800 Body Bags, where an office is inundated with phone orders. In fact, business is so good that someone interrupts the bustling atmosphere with,
"Business is booming, the are killing each other."
oh well, the album is Born Gangstas, not Made Gangstas. Gotta keep it real, right? So it's when the album delves deeper into the gender role reversal or the female perspective that things get really interesting. Boss does not mind being called a In fact, it becomes a term of empowerment. Prime example, My Sister is a which, in addition to AMG's debut album, ends up here.
Let me correctly break it down to you. The term is a straight up clown in you. So get this, it's the season for the ladies to get even. In the 90s, we doing all of the DOG.
And no, she does not stop there. She makes it known in Recipe of a in no nice terms, that she can be just as much as a misandrist, justified or not, as her male peers can be misogynists.
Yo, I'm through with all the
Eat it to you.
no trick, eat up to your spitter. You need to be
Just for the sake of emphasis, the song is followed by the skit, A Blind Date with Boss, where the members of Onyx think they're about to get some from Boss and DJ D, only for the girls to reappear and pump their rear ends full of lead. Boss isn't your regular chick. She's a gangster chick. Or, to borrow from Apache, a gangster, and she makes that very clear. It also helps that Boss has some serviceable skills on the mic. She has this aggressive flow and sharp tongue that manages to come off as menacing, when she's not trying too hard at least. Dee does some rhyming too, even though she has this tongue-twisting style that sounds awkward and amateurish. She's not too bad herself. Plus, how many DJs in rap history do you know get to rap on the title track, backed by AMG's sunny flip of Parliament's All the Goodies Are Gone? There's not a glimmer in Born Gangstaz. It's a bleak, unforgiving world in which Boss admits,
straight up. I don't even trust myself.
and man, she can curse. It's so bad, she easily made rappers like Ice Cube and Scarface sound like choir boys. And it's not just the verses. For instance, she drops the F-bomb 4 times in her voicemail, much to the chagrin of her parents in the opening and closing skits. And she has the words from that voicemail embedded in the chorus of, "Yeah, I don't give a f," which feels cathartic, considering her 3-year ordeal in the streets. Do you know what else must have felt cathartic? Having industry heavyweights in your corner. After struggling on the streets for so long, the aspiring female MC from the Midwest now had access to some of the best producers and musicians the East Coast and West Coast could provide. From the West Side, it's Def Jeff who produces most of the tracks of the album. He's responsible for the bongo drum funk of the first single, Progress of Elimination, and the sunny utilization of a Barry White sample in the other single, Deeper, which, by the way, made it to the Billboard Hot 100. Also, Eduardo Corres and Stan the Guitar Man Jones concoct the live drum and bass instrumentation of the topically grisly drive-by. On the East Side, Boss has Eric Sermon coming through with the funky murkiness of Coming to Getcha, and assisted by Redman with the scratching in the equally dark Two to the Head. Jam Master Jay and Chai Skills and T-Ray and MC Search also drop in to add to the gloomy musical template, the former contributing Livin' Loked and the latter contributing Diary of a Mad and I Don't Give a. The bi-coastal effort definitely enhances the unexplored female gangster rap viewpoint in Born Gangstaz. So, for all of Boss's posturing and the well-fitting production, it's quite a hilarious and crafted disclaimer from Boss's parents, who bookend the album by rebuking her via voicemail. Well, at least Papa Joe shows a bit of gratitude.
You got that kind of nasty stuff on your telephone, and I don't like it. This is your daddy calling. Oh, by the way, baby, thanks for the Rolex.
By the way, the disclaimer was Def Jeff's idea. Some people got the satire. Born Gangstaz would debut at number 22 on the Billboard 200 album chart and sell close to 400,000 copies. Great numbers for a female rapper at a time when none had yet to even go gold, let alone platinum. Queen Latifah would release the gold-selling Black Rain later in 1993, and the Brats became the first to go platinum with the following year's Funkdafied. But others didn't get the satire. In addition to the outcry from critics that she was promoting black stereotypes, the Wall Street Journal ran an expose in February 1994 on Boss's true origins, which revealed, among other things, her parents pitching in financially while she was in LA. That did it. It was all downhill from there. Boss lost her street cred. She fell out with her DJ, who must have resented her drastically reduced role on the album, despite the moniker Boss, actually an acronym for some shit, being pegged as that of a duo, not a solo artist. Russell Simmons did not like the material Boss was handing in for a follow-up album and soon dropped her from Def Jam. Her output was consequently limited to sporadic guest spots and 2 mixtapes, and years of heavy drinking eventually caught up with her. By the end of the 90s, her kidneys were failing. For the rest of her life, Boss would struggle with kidney failure, an ailment that claimed her life, on March 11th, 2024. So, one serving of Boss was all that the world got. Couple that lone album with the decline of gangster rap in the late 90s and early 2000s, and it's no wonder why Boss doesn't have any direct successors. Of course, that doesn't mean that Born Gangstaz is a bad LP. For those who love rap albums containing geographically and stylistically diverse beats, married to gritty and apologetic vocals, not to mention one that showcases the only successful female gangster rapper in history, this is the album to cite or check out. But bear in mind that swapping Boss with a guy might have made Born Gangstaz less interesting, which means that the female gangster novelty would have not been there for subsequent releases. Ultimately, the world didn't end because there wasn't going to be another Boss record. And that sucked for her, because she paid the ultimate price of living the gangster life a little too closely, whether it was intentional, circumstantial, or a combination of both factors. Leave it up to Boss herself to sum it up best in Coming to Getcha, where she raps.
Life's a radio.